Hey everyone, Alex here, and today I'm going to tell you how you can spend the day in Yomitan, Okinawa. I made this itinerary really thinking about how we can all support local businesses and immerse ourselves in Ryukyu culture. There's so much to do in this area, but I'm just going to give you my personal recommendations. Let's dive right in, starting early with breakfast spots. There are tons of cute cafes in this area, but I'll tell you some of my favorites. First up is Jacopo's Pancake House. I'm pretty sure this restaurant is built in an old military house, so that makes it pretty interesting. Since 2008, Jacopo's has been serving up delicious pancakes and French toast. I will say that the parking situation is dire. Only a couple of spots, and it'd be really hard to get down there if you had a larger car, but if you do happen to get a spot, you're in for a treat because it's really, really good. They are closed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so make sure to look out for that. Another place I'd recommend for breakfast or lunch is Bloom Coffee Okinawa. Not to be confused with the Bloom Coffee in Tsunabe. This place has really good French toast, coffee, and sandwiches. They're closed on Thursdays, and there is a parking lot in the back. A lot of times people have to double park each other, but it all works out in the end. The cafe figures it out and will tell you if you need to move your car. If you happen to be driving from down south, I would definitely recommend you check out Morningworks and What's the Story. Morningworks has some parking out front, but also has 2 satellite lots close by. Their portions are huge, and I've never had a bad experience with anything on their menu. I think it's all really good. What's the Story is an insanely vibey cafe with a really, really cute interior, tons of cool antiques and things to look at. It's on the smaller side, and I think that things can kind of be slow, but it is a really cool place to hang out, have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And I think it's even a bar that's open till like 2 a.m. There are 6 little parking spots next to it, but we managed to find a spot up the street to park, no problem. After breakfast, there are a lot of different things you can do in this area. I'm going to start first with talking about history and cultural things that you can do. So I would start off in Yomitan's Historical Museum, and it details the history of Yomitan Village. The museum itself requires a small entry fee, and it takes around 1 hour to get through. If you go to their website, they do have a section called Yomitan Village Historical Tourism Guide, and there are 5 different maps you can use to walk around and dive deeper into what interests you. You will need to translate it on your phone, but the guide looks really in-depth, and they have photos and really good information. Someone spent a lot of time on these, so I definitely recommend checking it out if you have the time. Right next to the museum are the Zakimi Castle ruins, which are a registered UNESCO heritage site. The castle was first built in 1416 and was largely destroyed during World War II. Today, you can still walk around and enjoy the nature and some good views of the countryside. Continuing with Ryukyu culture, you can also visit Murasaki Mura. This cultural theme park is a reproduction of Naha City from the 14th and 15th centuries. During the day, there are 32 workshops that visitors can participate in. These include shisa painting, ceramics, glass blowing, and making coral wind chimes. I've only ever been here at night actually because during the wintertime they host the Ryukyu Lantern Festival. This festival in particular lasts a few months, I want to say like November to March or something like that, and they normally have live music with some food options as well. During the summer, they also host the Yokai Festival, where you can walk around and learn about the different Ryukyu yokai that are believed to live on the island. We did this last year and it was really cute. If you're more looking for some inside activities like shopping, I have some recommendations for you as well. First up, I'd recommend taking a walk through the Yomitan Pottery Village. There is a good-sized parking lot with a public bathroom when you get there, and then you're free to roam around. It's not as large or as quaint feeling as the Pottery Street in Naha, but it's still nice to have a look and see what's going on. I think this is a cute place to walk around. I really enjoyed seeing all the cats and petting all the cats, but I do think the pottery is a little bit expensive, so take that how you want to. Moving on though, a cute store nearby that you can visit is this one, and they have handmade pottery, candles, and other goods. I haven't had the chance to visit yet, but it has really good reviews and it's been on my list for a while. Close to there is Genka Genkichi Glass, where you can make your own glass pieces or shop from their store. I've also got Pottery and Cafe Gunjo on my list. Visitors are free to tour their pottery studio and can buy something from their shop, or even order a cappuccino or an oven-baked pizza, which actually got really good reviews. Up the road a ways is a store called Hizuki, which offers a more curated and contemporary selection of ceramics and glass, especially pendant lights. I've also got this pottery store on my list, if you want to check it out. And this glass studio where you can make your own pieces or buy from their selection. If you drive back down towards the coast, I would take you to a place marked as the Gala on Google Maps. Gala, I don't know. It's a little strip of shops and restaurants, and it's a great place to keep shopping and grab lunch. They have a large store selling handmade glass and ceramics, as well as workshops for you to experience both. There's also a sea salts factory, a bottle shop, a dive center, and it is also the office locations for Legacy Deep Fishing Charters and Okinawa RV rentals. There is a nice big parking area and a view of the ocean. This bottle shop Caprice has some really nice and unique Okinawa souvenirs. I have eaten lunch at Nakumi Kitchen, which claims to have the best burrito on the island. I will say the burrito was very good. We think it was like the second best that we've had on the island, which is still really good. The vibes in there are also fantastic. I would highly recommend it. After lunch, I would leave the car parked where it is and walk down toward the water. If you walk down a path to the right, you'll come to this place marked Observatory on Google Maps. It has a beautiful view of the harbor and is a nice little place to kind of explore and walk around. There's also this small castle recreation that goes into the water that is a really good picture spot. The main thing I'd recommend to you to do here is to visit the Sango Batake, or what I think translates to coral farm. I would highly recommend a visit here. It costs 900 yen for adults, and that money goes directly to helping the facility rebuild after it was largely destroyed by a typhoon a few years ago. If you look at old Google Map photos, this place looked like it was super cool. Today you can only see about 40% of what it was as they worked to rebuild. After we bought our ticket, the guy showed us a little bit around outside and showed us a tank where they were regrowing coral and answered all of my questions. After answering your questions, he lets you go inside and you can take your time walking around. There are some panels on the wall in English that are describing their process and how coral work, and there is even some wildlife that you can interact with. So we came upon these really cute pufferfish that were like following us around in their tank. And then if you go outside, there are also 2 sea turtles that you can feed a little snack to. The guy was telling us that since this farm began, they've been able to plant 80,000 corals into the ocean. At this facility, they are being bred specifically to withstand the effects of climate change and are constantly exposed to UV light and other forms of environmental pressures. Only the coral with the best chance of survival is put into the ocean. He also explained that this location is strategic as well. I guess coral release their sperm and egg into the ocean and they're like carried upstream with the currents. And so apparently there are a lot of coral north of this farm. So when they plant it and the coral release their sperm and their egg, it flows upstream and it helps to repopulate the coral that's already existing north of this location. I'll leave a link to their website below. I think this is a great place to visit and a great way to support a facility that is directly helping replant coral and creating more natural habitats. After visiting this coral farm, it takes maybe like 30 minutes. If you're feeling more inspired to visit some natural beaches around the area, I have some recommendations for you. First of all, if you want to snorkel, I would send you right to Maida Point. It's some of the best snorkeling on the island. They have a pretty good sized parking lot and they also have showering facilities. So if you're looking to snorkel, I would send you up there. It's not in Yomitan, I don't think technically, but it's not that far of a drive. If you do just want to stay on land and enjoy some coastal areas, I've got some recommendations for you. First of all is the Ancient Rock Cut. It's on an old quarry site that is best visited at low tide. I've spent a few hours here walking around and it's a really cool and unique area. It's not necessarily a beach to like hang out on, but it's a cool place to walk around. A little bit north there is Zampa Beach, which has banana boat rentals, white sand beaches, and clear waters. Apparently people also like to snorkel here, but I've never been. Just north of there is the Cape Zampa Lighthouse. Here you can pay a small fee to go up to the top and get beautiful views of the surrounding area. If you walk over to what is labeled as the blowhole statue, you can get a great view of the lighthouse too. A little ways from there is a spot called Senaha Coast, which I have marked as having good shells during winter months. I've been there once and parking was kind of haphazard, like on the side of the road, but it was a really pretty spot. Lastly, there's Melody Beach. I'd recommend not parking down this tiny little hill, but instead parking at one of the nearby lots and then walking there. You can just hang out on the beach, but if you look on Google Maps, there's this place right here that's like a music venue / an Instagram-y photo op. And I think that sometimes they also host live DJ events. So if you just Google like Melody Beach Yomitan events, some stuff might come up. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to my dinner recommendations. Closer to Cape Zanpa is this restaurant called Hanagasa, and it's a spot serving classic Okinawan dishes for both lunch and dinner. There's a little gift shop and a bakery nearby as well. Next, I've got a ramen place to recommend because, of course I do. On my Google Maps, I have a note that says recommended by Hotel Guy, and I can honestly say I do not remember who exactly this was, but I do know we've eaten there and it was very good. There's tons of parking there. I think it's next to a farmer's market. It's a really random location, but it's on the 3rd floor of this big building if you're looking for it. I've also had a couple friends recommend Oki Seafood Restaurant. It serves classic Okinawan dishes and fresh seafood in a cozy atmosphere. Closer to Maeda a little bit is this place. It's basically like eating in someone's home with the food prepared by the owners. There's a parking lot in the back and they have an English menu. I'd bring some cash just in case. I'm not really sure if they take card or not, I don't remember, but I would highly recommend it for some local classic dishes. If you're still hanging out and want to do something after dinner, I would definitely see if Murasaki Mura has anything going on, whether it is wintertime, so it's the Lantern Festival, or during the summer months with the Yokai Festival. Or, you can just bop around and see what kind of bar and restaurant you run into. There's a lot over here. That seems like a pretty full day to me though. Hopefully this helps inspire you to explore the Yomitan area a little bit. I hope to do more of these little itineraries for you all over the island. So definitely leave any recommendations in the comments of places you'd like to see next. Till then, thanks for watching and happy planning. Bye.